Hey, sports fans, it's Larry Eder with RunBlogRun. This is our program, Socialing the Distance. Today we're with elite American sprinter Maurice Eaddy. You've been seeing him on the American Track League and at the New Balance indoor this weekend. Maurice, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I've watched you compete. Did you do all three of the ATL meets?
No, actually, I've only did one, and did one this past weekend I ran.
Okay, cool. How is let's talk about this last weekend. How did this last weekend go for you?
It went okay. I had a little some hiccups in the prelims. My back kind of started bothering me a little bit, like halfway through the race, and then now that I know, it was like it's a minor strain that I had, and so I was just trying to manage it through the rounds and just ran what I could in the finals. So it was.
And then you're training in Claremont, Florida. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And your coach is Dennis Mitchell, who I've known since he was a high schooler. I have embarrassing pictures of him from back then. And then your club is called Star Athletics, correct? Okay. Is Dennis out there with you every day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Does he travel with you to races?
It depends on the meet.
Okay. Was he there this last weekend?
No, he was not.
Okay. What kind of things will he tell you before you go to a race and he's not going to be? Does he have a conversation? Does he try to give you encouragement? Does he tell you things to watch? How does Dennis work with you?
Yeah, he's really hands-on, which I like a lot. He, like, if we need any type of information, he's like an open book for anything. Kind of been through the same type of stuff, that we've going through now. So, I mean, mainly he just tries to reinforce what we work on in practice. Keep doing the game plan and just really focus on executing. So because he usually can tell us what we're going to run that weekend, as long as we execute the way that we're supposed to race. So that's mainly what his emphasis is, just executing what we're doing and putting the time out there we know we can run.
Now, indoors, you do the 60, and I've got your best listed as 6:56.
Correct. Yes.
In Albuquerque. And then outdoors, you do the 100. I've got your best listed is 10:11?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do the 200 at all?
Not really. Usually I might run it in the beginning of the year just as like some overspeed training, but
sure.
We really focus on the 100 for me for outdoors.
And then you're also, you like the 4x1, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You did that in college and high school as well?
Yes.
So talk to me about the high school you went to. You said it was a little high school in North Carolina. Silas? Is that what it's called?
Siler.
Okay, cool. How many kids were on the team?
I'd say maybe 20 to 30, maybe.
Okay. And what was your coach's name at that
time? His name was Tyrone Hanner.
Okay. Did you have him all 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do track and football, or did you just do track and field? Did you track and basketball, or
track and basketball were my main?
Cool.
Yeah. So I kind of I was really good at football early on in my life.
Yeah.
But when I got to high school, I didn't really like lifting weights, surprisingly. So I kind of went to the basketball side and just track. So, and then I ended up choosing track.
Did you ever do the high jump?
No, I did the long jump though.
Oh, cool. Did you like the long jump?
Yeah, I was okay at it. I made it to states in it, so it was
awesome.
Pretty good, yeah.
Why did you decide to stick with 100? Something you really enjoy?
Yeah, and I mean, since I was younger, I've always had like a really, I guess, pretty good start, naturally. So just getting out, that was more of my thing. So I kind of like the shorter distances.
Why do so many elite sprinters have absolute crap starts? Totally blows my mind. It's just like, is it because when you get into a big meet, do you get nervous before the races?
Yes. Everybody has those types of sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I would think. It's like, I know that with I've talked to people sometimes, and they'll tell me, said, hey, it's my first time in front of 80,000 people. I forgot what the hell I was doing, and that's part of the thing. You're doing it each day. and you're trying to make it where it's almost automatic, but at the end of the day, you really got to think about everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
What was the biggest change from you going from a high school athlete to a college athlete?
I would say the training aspect. It was more in college. I mean, in high school, it was more, we were just out there like having fun. You know what I mean? It was,
yeah.
I mean, we were kind of taking it serious, but it wasn't like nowhere near serious colleges where at that level, everybody's kind of good, you know, especially if you're like on scholarship and stuff like that. So you really have to really work to keep your scholarship, or then, you know, if you want to go to nationals or something like that, that's like elite competition. Some of those college athletes are some of the top sprinters in the world every year. So like you really have to, that's where I really started to learn, you get out what you put in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just out there, just having fun. And I mean, yeah, it's fun, but you still really have to work.
When you were at college, did you feel that you were competing each day?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was Coach Ross like? Was he pretty involved? Was he inspirational? Did he let you know when the workout wasn't going well?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, he's a really outspoken person too. So he'll let you know when you're running good, and he'll let you know when you're running bad. But he's really
cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what you want. You don't want nobody just always going to sugarcoat things or, you know, stuff like that. So he was a really good coach. He makes you work hard, and you know he keeps it real. Tells you how it is.
When you did the 4x1 in college, what was the biggest lesson you learned about the 4x1?
That, I mean, you really have to. It's about trust. You know, especially with handoffs and stuff, you have to trust your mark. You have to trust, you know, that if you're not, I mean, it's like, say, if you're going out and you're receiving the stick, you have to trust that he's going to be there. He's going to hold on and get you the stick. Like you can't come out slow because, you know, everybody's going to be trying to get through that exchange zone really, really quick. So it's more about trust. And I mean, you have to really trust the guys that you're working with out
there. When did you start thinking about becoming an elite athlete? When did you go, hey, this is not just like a dream. If I really bust my butt, I got a shot at it? I mean,
I would say probably my junior to senior year of high school.
Wow. Okay.
I saw I was like making it to States, and, you know, especially after I ran at New Balance Nationals, that's when it was like kind of bigger than just going to States. You know what I mean? I saw a whole different type of world, you know what I mean? I never even heard of New Balance Nationals until my senior year. And then I ran at like the AAU Junior Olympics. And it's like, once I dove into that, I was just like, yeah, I like to keep doing this.
Tell us about the New Balance Nationals, because all I hear, I mean, I was there. I went to a couple of the early years and really liked it. Liked the way athletes were treated. And New Balance just had, I mean, I know they do the nice bags and the shoes and stuff, and that's got to be really cool.
Yeah.
What did you like about the New Balance Nationals?
I like that it was more of you kind of had everybody having fun, but you knew everybody there was working hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes in in high school, you kind of have people who just naturally talented. You know, some people just doing it for fun. Some people just, you know, just doing it, friends doing it. So it's like at that level, when you get to New Balance, if you qualify for that meet, you know, everybody's fast. Everybody's put some type of work in to get there. So, you know, if you win, like which I did, the Emerging Elite, but that gives you more of you kind of, I don't know, it holds more weight than just winning like States or something like that.
Cool. When did you make your college decision? Did you make it after New Balance Nationals, or did you do it before, or kind of?
I was actually, funny story, I only had like 2 to 3 solid offers coming out. And one was Mount Olive.
Okay.
But A&T, I remember because my coach, it was like middle of the season to my last year in high school. He was telling me like A&T was reaching out to me and stuff like that. But at the time I was really focused on, I really wanted to go to Clemson.
Okay.
But I don't think my grades were good enough to get in there. Like they was a little off. So like after New Balance, the head coach, he had took me into his office because it was at A&T.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I really like talked to him for the first time. Yeah. And once I saw the type of person, like I didn't really know, because I was his first recruiting class. I was Dwayne's first recruiting class. So I had no clue that it was actually like him. And, you know, he had the history he ran at a high level. So he had some type of, you know, he knew all about that. So once I found that out, I was all in. I signed that day. So.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you like having coaches like your college coach, and now you have Dennis, coaches who have had serious athletic experience at that level, because they can kind of tell you what the real things are and what not to worry about?
Absolutely. Like,
that's cool.
I mean, because some coaches, they can give you their aspect or, you know, their viewpoint on things, but you kind of trust it more when it comes from somebody who's been where you're trying to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So we're in the middle of this crazy pandemic right now. Mm-hmm. And I remember last spring, I was getting ready to head to Europe to go to all the indoor meets, because I go to the European circuit and see everybody over there. And I get a call from a buddy at the CC, and he said, "Yeah, you're not going on the plane." I said, "Why not?" He said, "It's going to get ugly and you're going to get stuck in France." I'm going, "Well, not bad for a few weeks," but we ended up not going. And then the Olympics got moved for a year. Mm-hmm. How did you feel when you heard about the changes with the Olympics?
It was, I mean, yes, it was disappointing, because, you know, that's something you visualize every day, you know what I mean? Going in, working, that's what your ultimate goal is, to make it there. So when it's pushed off, you're like, oh man, I gotta go through a whole another year to start all the way over. And, you know, so, I mean, it does play some type of mental, and then especially when you're trying to find somewhere to train because they're shutting every place down. It's like, it really got tough to try to stay focused. Because, you can work out, but when you're working out with a vision, you get way more, like, you know what I mean? Like, way more, I don't know the word to use, but you get more out of the workout, I would say.
Yeah, sure.
You're mentally in it. And something like this can really, if you're not careful, it can take you out of that.
Did a lot of athletes I've talked to during the pandemic took the time to figure out the things that they were weak at and make them better. Yeah. Is that how did you approach training during the pandemic, and how did your coach approach it?
I mean, we stayed on it as much as possible. I mean, we were creative with a lot of the things that we did. They were kind of like more unorthodox things, but I mean, Dennis, obviously you know him, so you know the type of person he is. Yeah. He's going to try to get everything out of it he can, you know what I mean? So, I mean, we weren't getting the quality as of, like, say, sprint workouts and stuff like that, but we were still working. We were just doing type of things.
Okay. And now we get to this season, and you've had 2 races. Tell me about your race at the American Track League. How did that go for you?
It went pretty good. I executed pretty good, I would say. My main thing going into it was we wanted to work on my transition phase a little bit. Like, in practice, my first 10 to 20 has been pretty good, but we were trying to really get me into, you know, those lower to mid 8, 9s coming through. So that was my main focus going in. And we was planning on opening it up. Like, I wanted to open up like 6'5" high, somewhere up in there. So I was close, but I mean, gotta take what you get.
Oh, no. How is your start right now?
It's pretty good. My main thing is my transition. I'm trying to really, if I can get my transition down, I think I'll be okay.
And you're running against guys like Marvin and Trayvon. And now, had you competed against those guys in high school, in college, or not?
No, I raced Bracy for the first time my either sophomore year or I think my sophomore year of college at USA's. That was the first time I ever raced him, but I didn't race them any more than that. Not until now. Yeah.
Trayvon's pretty quiet as I've seen him, and I spent some time with him in England in 16. Marvin is a character. I get a kick out of him. He makes me laugh, and he's always got something to say, and I enjoy that, you know. How big of a group do you work out with every day?
It's about, let's see, maybe about 10 of us, something like that. 10,
is it lighthearted? I mean, do you guys crack jokes in between stuff? Okay. I was just
family out there. Yeah.
I was curious. Is there parts like where you guys are like Dennis is giving you just a butt breaker for the day, right? Are there times when you guys are just really quiet and going, okay, I got to get through this thing because we don't know what he's going to throw at us next? Okay. Does Dennis tell you the whole workout beforehand, or is he just like, okay, you're doing flying 150s and then you have to wait to know the next thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we joke around about that. Like they never tell us the workout.
Okay.
Only time we know the workout is like because we kind of go in cycles. So if we're running the same cycle back, we kind of have an idea for what to expect. But if it's like a new cycle, every day is like a mystery, and they like that because I think they try to mentally prepare us to like be ready for anything.
Yeah.
So every day, you have to be warming up. Like you might be going something super fast that day, or you might just have something chill. You don't really know. So I kind of like it, but then I kind of don't because like you kind of want to know what you have. But
sure.
They know what they're doing. They do it for a reason. Everything they do is with a purpose.
How long does your warm up take on most days?
We usually stretch for about an hour. Not just stretch, but yes, that's how usually long it takes us to get us going. About an hour.
When you've had a hard day and the day following that, do you spend more time stretching?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you do a hard day, how many do you do? A couple easy days between the next hard session, or how do you work?
It kind of depends on what part of the season we're in, I would say. Like if we don't really have any competitions or anything coming up and he wants us to like really try to hammer something out, or if he's trying to get us to a certain pace, then we got to just, sometimes just suck it up and do what we got to do. But a lot of times if we're ahead of pace, he has no problem, like, being like, okay, y'all a little banged up. Take a rest day today, get your body's work done. So he's real flexible with that. As long as we're giving him what he's wanting, he has no problem with like recovery or anything like that.
Are you doing hill days still, or do you do any?
That's more like ball work.
Okay. What's the longest event that you're on the track for right now? I mean, what do you do? 200s and 250s and 300s, or is that too long? Yeah, in practice.
Oh, I'm in the fall. We did thousands before.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we got. I got it. What are you saying under your breath when you're doing 1,000?
And let me tell you, they come up with some crazy stuff, but you got to do it. If they ask for it, we just try our best to give them what they want.
Does it give you confidence knowing that you can handle the distance no matter what after you're doing 1,000, but it also gives you confidence that you can build your speed on that too, right?
Oh yeah. And cool. They're not going to give us anything that we couldn't run.
Yeah, sure.
So we kind of know it might hurt, but we can probably do it.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, I coached junior college track for 6 years. I loved it. Mm-hmm. And my head coach was a guy named Hank Kettles, and he had this workout on Fridays where it was 4 times a 450 flying, and we opened the school up to the 49ers, and Jerry Rice would show up in January till June and do this with us. Wow. And he's puking on the side of the track with my 10-6 and 10-7 kids. They're like total respect of him. But my kid became a 49ers fan, and we live in Packer country now. And he would go into school in his 49er stuff, And the nuns would go, no, not happening. But Daddy, this is Jerry stuff, it's just that kind of thing. But you get respect. I mean, it's, do you respect there's a respect that comes when you're working out with athletes and you've seen these guys go through the same grind as you. Is there a respect between athletes like that? Okay.
Absolutely, especially, go ahead.
When you're, and I was watching you in the heats this weekend. Do you kind of size everybody up before as you're lining up? It seems very quiet. This is a guy coming from a middle distance background and coaching throws and stuff. So I'm fascinated with sprinters. Is there are there little psychological games you guys play in heats? Is it just like you're out there, you're going to race, you're going to get into the next round, no BS. This is what you're trying to do. How does it work?
It kind of depends on, like you said, there's some race strategy. Because obviously, if you say you have you could pretty much make it through the rounds. Sure. You don't want to go through and kill yourself. So you might want to work on, like for me, my transition, for example. I might transition really hard and then come up and relax the last, 20 meters or 10 meters, Okay. So, but it depends. Yeah, it just depends on who's in your race and the circumstances of the race, how big the race is, what you're trying to, what your goals are for the end of the day.
Do you like having heats in the indoor season? Do you like having the first heat and then a final?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love rounds. I always run better with rounds. I would prefer rounds any day over one race.
When you're at the U.S. Nationals, you have
3 rounds.
3 rounds. So take me through that. Tell me how that works for you.
That's tough, and I couldn't imagine doing like multiple events with that. So, but just based off 60, like last year, we kind of you kind of just had to take it round by round.
Okay.
So you don't want to go through and deplete yourself and just be messed up by the time the finals come. But you have to make it. You know what I mean? It's no good fresh if you're not in the race. Yeah. So you kind of have to play it like it's kind of tough. You just have to play it like by the situation. But
last year with the pandemic, how many times did you get to compete outdoors?
I want to say 3 or 4 times.
Okay. How many indoors?
I had more indoor meets, probably like 5 or 6.
Okay. What do you like? How many times do you like to compete outdoors in a regular season?
As much as possible. I for me personally, I feel like I run better the more races I have.
Okay.
So obviously you don't want to just run the whole year, but
yeah, but before U.S. Nationals, which is, that's the make it or break it in the World Championship or an Olympic year. Right. Do you want to get like 9 or 10 races in, or is that too many?
Oh yeah, no, that would probably be good around 9 or 10. That would probably be a sweet spot for me.
Do you try to keep the races local so you control the travel, or how do you guys do it? If you have a race that you can race local, that's fine. But usually the local races, they don't really pay or stuff like that. So, it depends what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to go out and put a time or get a good time in, if there's good competition there, and I have no problem running local, you know what I mean? So obviously when you don't travel, you don't have that wear and tear on your body before you race or hydration issues or whatever the case may be. So it just depends what you're trying to do. Okay. Who is your agent?
I'm working with Tony right now.
TC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known him for about 35 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we worked at Runner's World together, and he put on a meet there in 1981. It was at the Cow Palace, and they had a 160-yard track. Okay,
What?
I swear to God, I ran a 3,000 on it. It was 22 laps. I hated it. It bounced. Okay. But in the 60 was obviously right in the middle. But so Tony puts the whole thing together, and he wanted to have the first guys to break 4 minutes for the mile in San Francisco. So he had a budget, and our boss gave him like 15 grand to do. So he brought in all these guys, world record holder and everything. So there's this kid from Iowa State who would run 3:57. He couldn't qualify because the slowest guy in the field was 3:55. And Tony had people giving him trouble. He had never dealt with this stuff before. And I have so much fun with Tony. He's just, and the stories, man, we just sit down, and that's what I miss about right now. Because, it's like this time of the year, we're sitting in a meet somewhere, and I hear his voice and a couple of the other guys come in, and it's going to be fun. And then I get to talk to him after the meet. So it's a good group. You have a good group. Are you doing any racing in Europe indoors?
I was supposed to be. We're still kind of playing it by ear.
Yeah.
I think we're going to decide probably after this weekend, see how this weekend goes, and take it from there.
Okay. And you're going to do the ATL meet, the fourth one?
Yeah.
Cool. How fast do you want to go this season?
For the 60?
Yeah, for the 60.
I would like to go. We were shooting for like 6'4".
Okay.
48.
And what do you want to do in the 100 this coming season?
992. That's what I'm shooting.
Cool. That's awesome. Are you starting to line up outdoor races yet?
We got a little schedule put together, but it's still
kind of juggling.
Yeah.
How is what's your gut tell you about the pandemic right now? Is it going to ease up this spring, or are we dealing with it through the summer?
I mean,
what are you preparing for?
Oh, always prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
If it does go all the way, and they end up canceling the Olympics, stuff like that, you kind of just have to stay positive and take it how it comes. But
yeah,
if you prepare like you're going to have the Olympics, and they do have the Olympics, and you're ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you got to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to sit back and be like, I don't think they're going to have it, so I'm just going to chill. It's going to be easier. Yeah, you don't want to be like that.
We have a World Championships in the U.S. next year in Eugene, Oregon. Any thoughts on that?
Hey, another medal to get.
Good. What do you like competing at better, indoors or outdoors?
I would say naturally indoors, because I don't have to think as much, because it's just like I'm really good at the beginning and middle parts of my race. So it's like it just comes easier to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of have more fun just, indoors.
What's it been like competing with no fans in the indoor stadiums?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Are there any sounds going on at all?
Actually, this last meet, they had like a fake crowd they were playing.
Okay, that's what I saw on TV, but I was like going, what are you guys hearing? I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I kind of liked it. It was cool.
That's cool. When you race like that, when you race at an indoor meet, and the TV people come up to you right after the race, is it hard to communicate?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
because you're trying to catch your breath and stuff, right? Okay, it looks to me, I mean, like I've been in the stadium and watched them do it. I'm going, oh God, give them a couple minutes so they can actually talk. Because I'm watching you guys and I'm going, they just ran 6.5, and I know the TV's got to get it, and it's important for us to do it right. And I thought the last two meets, the New Balance meet and the last two ATL meets, were awesome, in terms of good TV, because I hate it when we have a terrible meet on TV, because it kind of puts us back,
Yeah.
If you were in a room of sports fans, what would you tell them? Why should they check out an indoor track meet? What's cool about an indoor track meet?
I would say you don't have to deal with the whole, you don't have to deal with the whole like wind situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, even for the 400 guys, they hate wind because they got to face it at some point. They don't really have a good side and a bad side like we do sometimes.
Yeah.
So like, I like that there's no wind. Everything is just raw, what you are. You know what I mean? It shows more of a type of shape you're in.
Is it hard to get in shape for the early season?
Yeah, because it's quick. Like for me personally, our fall was cut kind of short a little bit, I would say, maybe a little bit compared to if we were just running outdoors, because you have to, speed up things a little bit quicker and get into race shape a little bit quicker. So yeah, you kind of lose a little bit of base, I would say, compared to if you were just running outdoors, but kind of it depends what your goals are, I would say.
All right. I'm going to start asking you names of athletes. Okay. And you got 3 to 5 words to describe them. Okay.
Okay.
Marvin Bracey.
Great competitor.
Trayvon Bromell.
Relentless.
Christian Coleman.
Dog.
Mike Rogers.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike Rogers.
Veteran.
Have you competed against any of the Chinese athletes?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you competed against any of the French?
Like Richard Kilty or them? No.
Have you competed against Kilty?
I raced it at Harry.
Oh, you have? Okay.
He's a cool guy.
Okay. I'm going to pull one out of here. Okay. How would you describe your coach, Dennis Mitchell?
3 to 5 words. This
yeah. And you got to keep them kind of clean, and not all the way. I mean, there were days when my athletes had a few choice words for me. That's part of the relationship,
I would say a caring, hardworking, open book. There we go.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. That would make him smile. I think you'd get a kick out. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned with Dennis? What's the biggest thing that he's taught you about being an elite sprinter?
I would say he opened my eyes to more of how things are mentally. Like, yeah, you can train your body, you can be in great shape, but if your mental is not where it needs to be, you won't perform to where you're trying. You won't perform at all. So like he really helped me make that next step in getting my mental right.
Is that the toughest part of being an elite sprinter?
It honestly is. Like, you don't really realize how much it can hold you back and how much it can push you forward when you start messing with it and trying to get it to where it needs to be. And then once you start figuring it out, it's like things just come easier. You start performing better, and it's just like doors start to open.
Did you ever do a 400 in high school?
No, I actually ran one 400 with Dennis maybe 2 years ago.
Really? How did that go?
Tough. I respect those guys so much, man.
I remember asking Carl Lewis what was the workout he hated the most. And he said that Joe Douglas gave him a workout. It was 400, 300, 200, 100. And he said the 400 he despised. But he knew once he was past that, he could handle anything. What is the workout that makes you tough, but you absolutely start craving? Just go, yeah, I don't even want to think about this thing again.
Probably 5-2-5s. That's like his go-to. It's like 500, 2-minute rest, 500.
Oh my God.
That 3, we start with like 3 sets. That's the worst one, man.
Are you standing afterwards? I mean, are you guys like all down on the ground?
Barely.
Wow. So when you do a lot of core work, right? Okay. When you've done something really fast, do you feel it in your core?
Oh, you mean like sprinting?
Yeah.
I would say you don't feel it like, say you were like lifting weights and you know that feeling you get after you lift weights. It's not more so a feeling like that, but if your core is strong, your technique and stuff will be better. You'll be able to feel that you're taller, you can hold your top speed a little bit more. It's like you can kind of feel that. That's how you know when your core is strong. It's not necessarily as your core is getting a workout. It's more it can withstand what you're trying to do.
When you ran your 10-11, did you feel you were working or did you feel you were in a zone?
I was more, I would say, in the zone. It didn't feel like I was working super hard. I was just locked in.
Okay. When you ran your 650, did you feel like you were in a zone or did you feel like you were working your butt off?
I was actually still in the zone. I didn't think I ran that fast, honestly. I thought I was
really? Wow.
I thought I probably went like, I don't know, 6'6" high or something. I was surprised that I ran that fast because it didn't feel like it.
Did you like running in Albuquerque?
Yeah, I love that place. The only thing I would say is if somebody had never worked out or ran there, I would say it weighs on your warm up because the air is so thin there.
Yeah.
Kind of get a little more tired in your warm up. It's kind of harder to breathe, but
okay.
Other than that, the track is great.
Maurice, you survived 39 minutes with me. It's great, man.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank you again. It means a lot. And I love watching you compete, and I want to meet you face to face. So I will make sure that one of the meets during the spring, I'll come up and tell you I'm not a stalker. I'm the guy from RunBlogRun. Okay.
That sounds good, man.
All right, Maurice, and give my best to Dennis. I've always enjoyed him. Yeah, I mean, I've watched him in college, watched him into high school, and watched him as an elite competitor. And he did pretty good interviews. We had a lot of fun because I'd ask him geek questions, and he liked geek questions. You know.
Yeah, man, he likes that deep.
Yeah, he loves that stuff. So. All right, this is Larry Eder with RunBlogRun. We're doing Socialing the Distance. We featured elite American sprinter Maurice Eaddy. And I did pronounce your last name right, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Good. All right, because I was concerned about that too. But Maurice, thank you so much. We'll watch you at ATL number 4 this coming weekend. And thanks again for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, sports fans, Larry Eder, RunBlogRun. This is your favorite program, Socialing the Distance. And today we featured American elite sprinter Maurice Eaddy. Maurice has gone 6.50, did that in Albuquerque last year, and he's gone 10.11, which he did, I believe, in 2015, but I could be wrong. He's coached by Dennis Mitchell with Star Athletics, and he's a good guy. He's an example. Maurice is an example of the amazing quality of 100-meter sprinters we have in this country. His goals this year are mid 640, 645, 646 for the 60, and he'd like to go 992 in the 100. He's did well in high school, was an emerging elite champion at the New Balance Outdoor Nationals, which you can say nothing but great things about. He said that really opened him up to thinking about being an elite track athlete. I like Maurice. I've got to observe him at the ATL meet and then also at this last weekend at the New Balance meet. He's a straight shooter. He's got a great sense of humor, really, and he's managed by Tony Campbell, one of our favorites with TC Sports Management, and he's a good guy. I asked him about Trayvon Bromell, Marvin Bracey, Christian Coleman, Mike Rogers, and Dennis Mitchell, and he had good things to say. I gave him 3 to 5 words, but yeah, I was impressed with him. I'd love to spend some time with him and watch him compete at a couple meets. He's one of the reasons why, one of the examples of athletes that I really admire and that I want to see go a long way in the sport. So this was the epilogue today, and it's short and it's sweet. Make sure you watch our Socially the Distance this week. And if you like Run Blog Run, like us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you love us, subscribe on the YouTube. We did 369 videos and audios in 2020. We've done over 2,500 videos and audios since 2010. The majority of them being done by our friends at the Shoe Addicts. And Mike Deering is our producer. Mike puts up with me on a daily basis. He and Mike and Adam Johnson Eder came up with a Socially the Distance name and the Athletics Chats name too, and Combos with Larry, which is, everybody knows, is just a one-way conversation, just like an epilogue is by me. It's a chance for Larry to chat. So signing off, stay safe. If you're indoors, wear a mask. If you're outdoors, can't be 6 feet apart, wear a mask, stay safe. I want to see you at a bunch of track meets soon. Take care.